Nigeria is a blessed country with diverse natural and human resources. We have over 250 ethnic groups in Nigeria. We are blessed and we are beautiful people. My name is Mudukwe Jacobs and you're welcome to Tea or Coffee. With me is...
Good morning.
Good morning.
And then I must add to that, happy new month, everyone. It's new month, new beginning. And yes, happy independence.
Happy Independence Day, Nigeria.
Yes, you know, Nigeria is 58 years today. And it's a green day, basically. Let me put it that way.
An amazing day, I must say.
Yes, definitely.
We have come a long way. And the fact that we are where we are today, we are blessed and it's something we should celebrate.
Yes, definitely. We need to celebrate what Nigeria is all about. You know, it is not just talking about the negative part or negative aspect of Nigeria. We need to see the positive Nigeria. We need to see a better Nigeria. And that is why Independence Day is actually a significant day. And I'm sure a lot of people in Nigeria will be resting because it's actually a public holiday. And everyone would be resting and enjoying themselves at home.
And that is why we are going to talk about something really important to the growth of Nigeria today.
Yes.
We're going to be talking about, you know, rebranding Nigeria because, you know, there's so many factors that comes with that. There's so many things that have been said about us that in one way or the other is not true. Because, you know, my starter was that we are blessed people. We are beautiful people with diverse cultures, human and natural resources.
Talent,
you know,
gifts.
Talent, exactly. So we need, you know, to rebrand and, you know, portray the true image of Nigerians as good people, as beautiful people, and as trustworthy people.
And strong people, don't forget,
yes,
you know,
we are strong.
We've been through so many things, and we are still here standing strong at 58. That is really not easy, you know.
I know. Okay, we've been doing a lot of talking. We are not alone in the studio. Being that today is a beautiful day and we are celebrating Nigeria at 58, we have our beautiful presenter here with us, Ronke Ashiru.
Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Independence Day.
Yes, and happy traditional day also.
Good morning, world. When you were talking, I was expecting to that because that was a poem, right?
I know, right?
I was expecting it to end with Nigeria, my Nigeria.
Nigeria, my people.
That was so nice. So how are you this morning?
Fine. It's good to have you on the show. You know, aside having to hear your voice in the talk back saying, hello, beautiful ladies. And now you are the one on the seats.
Oh, yeah, with you. So
and you look
else
good.
That. Thank you very much.
Yes, all right. So we're talking about rebranding Nigeria. And when we say rebranding Nigeria, that is, you know, creating a positive image because aside outsiders, aside people outside the country, Nigeria, even Nigerians do not, you find out that some Nigerians actually do not believe in themselves. So, and that is why this topic is actually quite important, that we need to explain and let Nigerians, not just outsiders out there, Nigerians understand how important it is for the positive image of Nigeria, for people to know that, yes, Nigeria is a good country, is a blessed country. Imagine our cultures, our values.
Exactly.
We need to actually talk about
Let
this.
the whole world see who we truly are and not what they have painted us to be.
Yes. What do you think?
Exactly what you said. I believe that's why we have a brand expert here.
Yeah.
Because when we talk about changing the image of the country, because I believe that we need to actually do more to rebrand the country. I know that years ago, like maybe 8 years or thereabout, there was this one people, one nation kind of, you
campaign.
know, we need to rebrand the country. And I was late Professor Dora Akuile, that's the former Minister for Information. I was at one of the meetings that she had, and my God, when she was talking, I didn't want her to end. you know, people stood up for 10 minutes. They were still clapping because she said, okay, that you people, you talk about that a lot of people, they talk about, oh, when thinking of Nigeria, think of 419 and everything, but the true Nigerians are the mothers waking up early in the morning, putting their babies on their back, going to the farm to get what's it called, corn to sell, going to marketplace or very close to the roadside, putting it, selling the corn and using that money to send children to school.
Yes.
Nigerians are hardworking.
Yes. Definitely.
When you wake up in the morning, you see a lot of people running, walking fast and everything. You know, here, you don't see them holding biscuits and eating. Everybody is running.
That is why I mentioned strength. The Nigerians are actually very strong.
Yeah, we have that. And go to different parts of Nigeria, you will see that we have amenities and a lot of people are doing well. So it's just the bad eggs that maybe 20 out of 20 million, and then people are talking.
Everyone should actually not be seen as bad eggs, you know.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people, when you travel out there, a lot of people here, the most common image right now is catfishing. Like when you hear a Nigerian young prince, catfishing and all that. But for the fact that some people are indulging themselves in such act doesn't make everyone in Nigeria bad people.
Yeah.
I mean, there are actually people out there standing to create a better Nigeria, standing to rebrand, standing to see Nigeria as a better place in the nearest future that everyone would want to visit, everyone wants to go and see what exactly Nigeria is all about. And trust me, we have a lot of natural resources and human resources that can help us achieve this. If you would agree with me, you know.
Of course we do agree. And you know, I will come from the stand that even as Nigerians, sometimes we tend to put all the blame on the government. And truthfully, it is not about what the government can do for you, but what you also as a citizen can do, you know, for the government. And so the change that we want, the rebranding we want, as in for Nigeria as a brand, is going to start from us. We are the ones that will start to change it and change the status quo.
And not just us, but you.
Exactly. Okay, we need to go on a break now, but please do stay glued because we have a whole lot of things in store for you on the show today. Tea or coffee? We'll be right back. Stay glued.
Experience the excitement at High Impact Planet Amusement Park and Resort. Our state-of-art facility offers amazing outdoor rides, playhouses, indoor games, and dining facilities. Thrill your students with a lifetime memorable excursion trip. High Impact Planet. Fun just got real.
Discover the magic. The thrill. Every sight is so close you can feel it. The excitement. The fear. Experience our cinemas at High Impact Planet, the place where fun just got real.
Still talking about Nigeria. You know, Nigeria is a beautiful country, Nigeria, with different ethnic groups, over 500 or over 200, 250?
250, yes.
I think it has actually increased to over 500, yes. It's still Tea or Coffee on High Impact Television. In case you're just joining us, don't worry, you're not too late actually, because the show is about to begin. And right here in the studio, we have our guest, Mr. Tunde Oweye Foster, MD Foster Solutions and Communications. Good morning.
All right, good morning.
You're welcome. You're looking bright.
Thank you.
Yes, and you know, happy Independence Day.
Happy Independence Day.
Happy Independence Day to everybody.
Okay, now let's hit the topic for today, rebranding Nigeria.
Right.
Now, you are a branding expert, and then talking about branding, you need to have a product in terms of branding. You need to put marketing in place. You need to put advertising in place. Now, let's put Nigeria as a product. How do you think Nigeria can actually be rebranded?
Well, when you talk about nation branding, it's like what you said earlier, it's the same principle for commercial branding you apply to a nation branding, but it's a bit different because it's wider, it's about a people, not necessarily about a product or something like that. So if Nigeria is going to be rebranded, first of all, number one, we have to be deliberate about it. When I mean deliberate, the CEO of Nigeria, which is the president, has to be on board. He has to decide that, okay, we want this direction for Nigeria. And of course, that direction is not going to be something we pick out of the air. It's going to be something that is natural to us. We are going to look at what are the strengths of Nigeria. Every nation has their good and bad parts, every nation. Yeah. But intentionally, Nigeria is going to look at what is sellable, what are our strengths, and then we now capitalize on one of it or every one of it and summarize into something, a proposition to the world about Nigeria. So that's where it starts from. So Nigeria is going to have a proposition, a proposition that is real, that the people can synchronize with, that people can resonate with. Not something that you just pick from anywhere and just say, hey, this is the new logo and this is the new slogan for Nigeria. No. Yeah. So that's the first thing. But the next thing is that Nigeria has got to now be very deliberate about how it sells these things out through tourism. That's tourist centers and destinations. Culture. What are the cultural and festival activities we have that interest people? We're going to look at the people. There are people that can sell Nigeria as a brand. We have artists. We have people that have excelled in their career. And things like that.
Industry.
Yeah. Then we have industries like the movie industry that Nigeria can capitalize on. So these are all and even the media itself. So Nigeria has to look for that proposition and then look for how to capitalize on it using like those cardinal points, those 5 things: the culture, the people, culture, tourist centers and destinations, and all those things I mentioned. So basically, that's like a summary. I don't know if you want me to go like deeper and start breaking it down.
Before we even go deep into talking about rebranding Nigeria,
right.
We have to first come to the fact and ask ourselves if we actually need to rebrand. So do you think Nigeria actually needs rebranding, or we are just good the way we are?
Nigeria needs rebranding, a massive one at that. The reason is because, like I said, we are not controlling our story out there. So what happens is that we are at the mercy of what anybody says about Nigeria. I'll give you an example. Nigerians also perceive foreign countries from what you see on the media. So if, for example, there's a shooting somewhere, and then that's what the media picks and say, oh, there's a shooting. Everybody in Nigeria thinks that shooting is happening everywhere in that country. So it looks like, hey, that place is so bad. It doesn't mean that place might just be one tiny place in the whole country. So if Nigeria is not rebranding, that means we're allowing anybody to tell our stories anyhow. So it's whatever people hear on media, if it's just one occurrence, that people take away and say, oh, Nigeria is like this or Nigeria is like that. So Nigeria needs to be rebranded.
I can remember very well when I was younger growing up, and then I watched foreign movies. Most of the time, when you see emergency, what do you call?
911.
Is that a number? But it's because that's what is out there. That's what we see.
Right.
So you were saying that the CEO, as in the president, needs to be into this.
Right.
Is it supposed to be his own duty, or maybe a minister for, like we said, information, or who actually is supposed to be
in charge
of this rebranding?
Right. If you talk about role specifically, you are going to talk about Minister of Information and Nigerian Tourism Board. There's a Nigerian Tourism Development Corporation or Tourism Board that are particularly in charge, directly in charge of that. But the person that will have the biggest influence is the president. Just one speech somewhere, starting with a particular phrase can change the whole game. Do you get my point now? I mean, you can be so glorifying to the point where they say, hey, he has come again. But they know that you're selling something. You believe so much in something. I know there was a businessman in Nigeria, it's late now, at the time, that used to say something like, man, I love something. And that's what everybody runs away from. I don't know if you can pick it. And, he's in the, what they call it now? If I call it, the name he calls it, shit industry. And then he wants to give a speech and he first talk about how he loves it and how it's so good.
It's a good business.
And how it's a business, it's a good business. And how it's so beautiful. And how it's so, so just that, it's a stuck in everybody's mind. It's late now for years, but I can still remember that. The CEO has a big, part to play where, driving the message far is concerned. So, I mean, that's why I said the president needs to be involved in this. Of course, there are a lot of other execution channels, media and all that, which is now the movies and all that, which is now the real work of the Nigerian Tourism Board and the Information Ministry and all the people.
All right, let me come in there. She mentioned that, foreign movies, there was a part where she saw a movie and she grew up knowing that when there's an emergency, you call 911.
Yes.
Now, it's not even just that. There was a particular movie that was shown that they're actually going to have a black president. And that movie was shot right before President Obama actually came in.
Okay, yeah.
And there's a way they portray their movies like prophecies.
Like they've seen the future.
They've seen the future. They can tell what's going to happen. Yes. So now,
the mind of the people.
That is the role of movies in their own aspect,
Right.
And for me, I think Nigerians, they're actually improving when it comes to the Nollywood industry because, yes, you might not agree with me, but then, you can't compare Nollywood movies back then and now.
True.
Now, there was a particular movie I watched that is Nigerian, and then I was asking myself, all of these places in Nigeria, and I tried to research and check where the movie was shot, and it happened right here in Nigeria. So they're actually coming up with beautiful places you can use in movies.
True.
Now, aside the movie as an execution channel, now as a citizen, what is your responsibility in rebranding Nigeria?
Well, I mean, when it comes to citizens' responsibility, I would like to be practical and say that is something so big.
Okay.
I mean, how do I tell somebody in the north, someone in the south, somebody to be personally responsible for rebranding Nigeria when they're even still looking forward to make their own money? The most important thing that I said again is that's where the vision being driven by the leader comes in. When the leader drives the vision, everybody naturally buys into it. So when there is an icon like a logo or something or a slogan that everybody can latch onto, then you start seeing people creating merchandising products. So they now have a T-shirt and they just write it on it. So the T-shirt is not just green, white, green, but it's a statement. You know what I'm saying? It's something about Nigeria that is real to the person that the person can connect with. So that way, when people wear it and they are going out there, they believe in it. And then that passion or that aura, goes around right there. And when they go out of the country, I mean, you can't totally control people's story or conversations. An American or a French can come to Nigeria and say something bad about America. Even on TV, we see all that, right? But the most important thing is for us to, control the conversation by us or leaders buying into it first of all, and then everybody starts latching onto it. And of course, staying true to it, not just mouth talk, but staying true to what it's about. So everybody follows. People are naturally designed to follow. When they see something they can all latch onto, something that everybody believes in, they can latch onto. Yeah, everybody follows through it.
Okay, so let's talk about the current state of the Nigerian brand now. How would you define the current Nigerian brand?
Am I allowed to say something bad?
You're not allowed to say
No.
So now let me talk about years to now. Nigeria has actually improved. That's what people don't know. If you actually do research, if you actually research and find out, you find out that, there's a way, as a Nigerian, you're like, hey, I've seen all the bad things. And it happens to everybody in every country in the world. I mean, that's why sometimes people rant on social media. And I remember I replied to somebody before, like, hey, please, can you just give me your passport? Let me see if you are so angry about America, But I think that Nigeria has improved as a brand. What we just need to do is to be intentional. You not be shocked that there is actually something called Tour Nigeria, a drive by the ministry, Nigeria Tourism Board.
Yes.
Beautiful stuff, but it's just there somewhere. So maybe there's no commitment of a lot of activities to it. You get my point now? So we're not really controlling that conversation very well. I know Nigeria has a handle on Twitter, and when it started out, it was hot, on fire. But I mean, the last tweet there was in 2017, September, or something like that. That's exactly like almost 1 year ago. So the Nigerian brand is actually good to some extent, all right? But what we need to do is to be intentional about it and make sure we capitalize on all those channels that we can use to tell our stories.
Right. You talked, I'm not talking for myself right now, the question I want to ask.
Right.
I'm talking for somebody that is watching and is wondering, okay, you said it's better. So what are the things, from your own perspective, what are the things that you believe that are better than the way it used to be?
Right. Okay. So if I'm going to if we look at it, if we don't look at it month on month or year on year, if we look at it 5 years, decades and all that, if you look at the military era, anybody, I mean, if people that are really young and teenagers may not understand, but if you look at Nigeria at the military era. And when 1999 came into play, you know, there was a very strong, you know, departure from what used to happen. And then there were even a lot of foreign direct investment into Nigeria and things like that, which we're still enjoying up to now. That's the truth. So, so if you don't look at it year on year, like, hey, what happened last year? What happened 2 years ago? But if you look at it decade on decade, you see that we're actually making progress. And then if you see generally development, look at high impact. High impact was not here before. And so nobody can really tell the story of the whole of Lagos and the states and Nigeria now without mentioning, I believe Nigeria and if you want to talk about destinations in Nigeria, this has to surface. So in a way, we are developing. We just don't know it. It may not be that fast. It may not be, you know, if we're looking at it, it happens to individuals too. If you look at yourself, people around you don't know that you're improving. But someone that saw you 5 years ago and come like, hey, you're so big. Everybody like, oh, really? So I think if we look at it that way, we're actually improving on a lot of fronts. There are lots of parasitors coming up. We didn't have EFCC at the time. So, you know, now we say, yes, they're doing what they know. But we didn't have it at the time. There was a time it was just anyhow. She came up and so there are things that we're doing gradually in different places. If you look at Lagos, for example, there are a lot of things Lagos is doing. I mean, Lagos as a brand is almost, I can say, bigger than Nigeria.
All right. Thank you so much. You know, I think he has been able to talk about rebranding Nigeria so well, And I need to dwell on the point that you mentioned that we have a lot of projects on ground, fantastic projects at that, but it needs an intentional act for you to, you know, bring out this project to reality. Yes. And okay, on this note, we are going to, you know, end it with Mr. Tunde Oweye. Thank you so much for coming on Tea or Coffee.
Thank you very much.
Yes, we need to go on a short break, and trust me, you do not want to miss out on today's episode because we still have more guests coming into the studio.
And not to forget, on behalf of High Impact
TV, I am so sorry. You know, pardon me.
Who was a guest? You know?
This is Nigeria, proudly Nigeria,
it's
you know. Thank you so much. Yes, on behalf of High Impact TV, we offer this to you.
Thank you very much.
So appreciate you for coming on the show.
Thank
you so much. All right, we need to go on a short break, and when we come back, you'll still be tuned to Tea or Coffee on High Impact Television. Do stay tuned.
Walking into comfort in a safe environment is every family's dream. At High Impact Planet Resort, our fully furnished service apartment is a home away from home. Amazing views right in your luxurious world. Work out to keep fit for an amazing body at the gym. Get affordable groceries and personal care items at the supermarket. Feel relaxed and beautify yourself at the fully equipped spa. High Impact Planet. Fun just got real.
You're welcome back. This is still tea or coffee. And like we said earlier on that this is a special episode, and that's why. Where's Wura? I said I chased that, bounced her. No, don't worry, she'll soon be back. Okay, we have a guest in the house. We have two guests in the house. Mr. Folusho Phillips, Chairman, Phillips Consulting, and also the Chairman of Nigerian and South Africa Chamber of Commerce. You're welcome on Tea or Coffee, sir.
Hi, morning,
Welcome,
morning,
sir.
thanks.
Good morning.
Good to be here.
Yes. And we have Mr. Diola Adelawa, MD, Breakfast Online. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Ronke. It's good to be here.
Yes, happy Independence.
Same to you.
I was expecting you to put on green and white.
Well,
Well, he's not here. He's not here for the show. He's here for a different event.
For different.
Had to do with our Old Boys Association.
Yes,
So he's
yes.
dressed for the boys.
Yes. He wants to
thank
do
you for bailing me out.
All right, welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, we were talking about rebranding Nigeria. From your own point of view, do you think Nigeria needs rebranding?
Well, I guess if you don't want to get too complicated about defining rebranding,
Yeah.
I think Nigeria needs to learn to tell its true story.
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't tell our own stories. We don't celebrate our own. We don't give prominence to those things that we get right. There's a lot that we get wrong and we know it. But those who are getting things right are helping to fix those things that are wrong perceptively. Perception is a very strong thing, and what branding does is help you to create a positive perception about a person, a situation. And if we can learn to create a right perception, then the way people react to us will be a lot more positive than we're experiencing today. I think that the whole idea of rebranding is just trying to say, look, let's raise the consciousness of people to ensure that we praise ourselves, we identify the things that are wrong and deal with them, but not necessarily put ourselves down. There's a lot to celebrate, and there's a lot not to celebrate. Today, it's not about politics, it's about just the people.
Yes.
And I think that the concept of rebranding is just saying that, look, let us learn to tell our positive stories as well.
All right, okay. So thank you. What are the stories that you think that we should celebrate and talk about?
Before I take the stories, I just would like to chip in, a little to what my senior, Mr. Phillips, has just spoken about. Rebranding,
You
suggests
say you're senior.
that. Yes,
Yes.
I didn't even meet him in school. Really? All right, so that you know.
Hey, look at my gray hair. Come on.
So that you know, I didn't even meet him in school.
Okay, so in
All
other
right?
words, for people that are lost, old students of Mobi,
Igbobi College, yes.
Mobi College,
Yes,
I
that's
don't
right.
know why you...
We're all
It's-
over the place. It's
you're
okay.
all over-
It's okay.
You are so
You see,
proud.
you're talking
You
about
love the
branding.
school
That is
so much.
powerful branding that you
Yes,
see,
it is.
you know?
It is.
Yes,
Yes,
that's right.
that's why you are here today,
Yes,
because
exactly.
you've really kept the brand. It's any old students when you see and they talk about Igbobi, you wonder,
You see,
is
again,
this-
it's about telling your story,
Yes.
celebrating yourself, just like we're saying for Nigeria. Telling your story, celebrating. And
Wow.
all that is right.
Okay.
I interrupted you.
Oh, it's okay. So, I was going to say that rebranding suggests that, you already had the brand at some point, and then you need to rebrand, and all that, So, I would say that first, the world does not know enough of Nigeria.
Okay.
There's a lot of good stuff about this country that the world doesn't know about.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the media, out there, tends to focus on the negative things about Africa. Okay, and so it's interesting that we need to start talking to the world and let the world know exactly, what we have to do. I'll just quote a little statistics. Rwanda signed a deal with Arsenal. Okay, and so they have that little thing on the Arsenal shirt, Arsenal Football Club of England, that says "Visit Rwanda."
Wow.
All right. A lot of people criticize them because they said they spent a lot of money. But that's a country, okay, that relies a lot on tourism. And since then, they've seen an astronomical rise in the number of people visiting Rwanda. All right, so those are the kind of things we need to do. And the beautiful thing about Nigeria is that we don't need to search a lot to find those stories. All right, if you go to America, for example, we have it, also on records that we're probably the most educated immigrant group, in the U.S. So you've got top Nigerians who are doing wonderful things in different parts of the world, and these are the things we need to highlight. There's no country that has not got its negatives, but again, our own media, doesn't do us, justice, because sometimes, we have too much negative stuff, being reported about this country. But we must begin to put, our best foot forward so that the world, knows that, there are great things, in this country.
And you talk about what can we celebrate? I think our youth. The young people in this country are just phenomenal.
They're amazing.
Phenomenal.
They're amazing.
I am personally so proud of what the youth are doing, especially in an environment that sometimes seems to be rather aggressive, rather negative, rather challenging. And without a doubt, they're rising up to the occasion. I am very, very proud of the things that the different people are doing, especially now that we say, look, the environment is challenging, therefore you need to be very entrepreneurial.
Yes.
And they're getting up and doing it. The guys, the younger people of this generation have had it a lot tougher than we did. I mean, we went to school, went to university, came out, it was easy to get a job, literally. There's a lot of support, and the whole system just worked. Now you've got a larger population, a much tougher environment, and yet the young folks are getting up and just rising to the occasion and doing wonderful things. Unfortunately, because we're in a very digital age, and it's all about your mental capacity.
Yes.
So where you're not disturbed, where government isn't the way, the process isn't the way, it's just left to you. They've said, okay, if it's left to me, I'm going to get up and show that I can do things. And that's what the young people are doing everywhere. We can't begin to mention it in arts, in science, in technology, in digital work, everywhere. The kind of things that you guys are doing, for Christ's sake, So I think that it's a huge, huge pot of choices that you can make in terms of what's right. What do we celebrate?
When we look at brands are not tangible. They're not tangible, and it lives in the mind of people, either good or bad. It's in their mind, it's in their consciousness. And for Nigeria as a brand, other countries are focused. They're those that they see what we are doing and they enjoy us based on what we put out there. And just because there are so many, this stuff that's been painted, about Nigeria, and then so many projects have come up. Let's look at Nigeria, good people, great nation, and it's just there. We weren't able to pull off that project. So many projects have come up, and then it's just hanging. What do you think is the first step that we should take?
Well,
okay, all right.
Hug the conversation.
Okay. Look, the first step, obviously, is, you need to know what you want to show to the world. Okay, and he has said something. He said, we need to celebrate our youth. Okay, so these are the things. But more importantly, I think we need to put together, a team of experts whose job it is, that works on, perception. They call them perception experts or whatever. That's what they call them. We need to put that together. That kind of a team, and then know how we're going to communicate. What we intend to sell. Okay. And once you're able to do that, you then need to begin to choose the medium with which you want to, and all that. But there are things that also happen every time. That we see. Look at the other time, the British Prime Minister was here, and she was donning, a jacket, made by a Nigerian. We didn't even get to hear, a lot of noise about that. Okay, look at the simple thing that happened at the World Cup. The Nigerian jersey. All right. Okay. So maybe we didn't have, the performance to go with the jersey, but we got the whole world talking about it.
True.
All right. So these are, there are some things that don't even require a lot of resource, to put out there. Okay. So, but we must have a plan.
Okay.
All right. What we have had in the past, is haphazard. Some people come and they want to do this. Some people come. No, let's have a plan. Irrespective of who is in government, so that when they get to this level and they're out of government, another group comes in, and then continues with it. Okay, because the thing about branding that you spoke about is the consistency.
Yes.
All right. Sometimes even if you tell yourself a lie, and you tell it for long enough,
you believe it.
You know, it becomes okay. They don't call them lies anymore. In America, they're called alternative facts.
All right.
So, you know,
I like that.
there you are. All right. So these are the things that we need to be doing.
And it's amazing that you find it each time people who do come to this country, no matter the kind of impression they have, positive or negative, you come in, the infrastructure is a bit challenging, airport was tough, traffic and so on. One thing that is always constant is they leave saying, you know what, Nigerians are great people. They always say that, you know, you people are so warm, you're so kind, you're so nice, you're so exciting, you're so... I'm still to meet anybody that walks away and says that, look, I don't like the people. And it's a huge contradiction for them, a huge conflict in their minds that, okay, we come in and the environment's a bit challenging and people are shouting, but then when you meet the people, you know, just a few days ago, I had some few people from South Africa, fortunate enough, and the United States who were over at my place. And that was the conversation. You know, and the person said that, do you know that each time, the guy from the States said, do you know about 2 or 3 times that I've been to Nigeria, I've always been invited into people's homes. He said, I shamefully will tell you, of all the people that have visited the States, I've never taken them to my home. We go to restaurants, we go to eateries, but you guys invite us home. And these are the things about us that is so special, about us being very, very special people. But then another thing, just to back up what's been said by Tori, we call him Tori.
All right, now we got it. Yes, now we get it.
Is that, you know, you really, I always believe in this concept of having what I call a national value proposition. What does Nigeria want to sell to the world, okay?
Yes.
And once we agree that, look, this is what we want to sell to the world, let the whole country align behind it, and that's what we continue to push, you know? And if you want to get very economic about it or technical about it, is it oil that we want to sell to the world? Because if that's what our value proposition is, then it means that the whole economy has got to revolve around oil. We have refineries, institutions that train on refining, all those things about minerals. The whole of Nigeria's enterprise will revolve around oil. But in the past, it's always been agriculture. Agriculture is really it. And we had that many years ago. Okay? So the whole idea is that we've got to sort of align behind agriculture. And we did several years ago before oil turned up. It was all about agriculture. The regions, as we call them then, had their own agricultural focus. And everybody, you went to the universities, they taught agriculture, agricultural sciences, agricultural engineering, agricultural economics, you know. And then we had the banks. The regional banks, Bank of the North was all about cotton, hides and skins and so on. The National Bank in the Western region was about cocoa and cassava. Then the African Continental Bank in the areas for oil, palm and rubber. And then the railway system worked. We had institutions, you know, IITA, rubber institution, meteorological services. Everybody was geared around agriculture. And we were developing what you call national competencies. And it was all geared towards that. And we were reaching the stage, or just about to start, what I call the beneficiation of our raw materials, moving backwards. That is, we now started the industrial estate, the Ikeja industrial estate, Agbara industrial estate, all the cotton mills in the north. Everybody was gearing towards now, let us start beneficiating our raw materials. And then what happens? Oil turns up. And it was like, it's too much hard work to be manufacturing and all that. Let me just sell the oil. And the smart thing that we didn't do was to take the revenue from oil to drive
the other
agricultural value proposition to the world. Because if we did that today, we'll be a major agricultural country. We'll have work for all our young people. We would have been experts in all these things. We've lost the expertise in these things. But having said that, that's why I say I believe in the young folks. You're already defining and helping us to take advantage of the new world we live in, and say that the digital world is leveling everything. So now we can get young people to leapfrog into this and begin to move the country forward. So,
I believe that right now, the last 3 years, people are going back to the farm. You see a lot of people that actually graduated in university, in another course entirely, becoming a farmer, maybe a poultry farmer and all that, Gary.
Yeah.
So I believe, but is
And don't forget that
yes.
it's about a value chain.
Yes.
One extreme is me digging the ground and
Yes.
planting, and the other is having the stuff on the shelf.
On the shelf. Yes.
And look at all that happens in between. There's a lot, apart from the item itself, the packaging, the advertising, the merchandising, the transportation, the logistics.
The transportation, the logistics is
and now you can dial in and get on your phone and book an item, and it can be sold. So much.
Yeah, just to buttress, the point you've raised. Okay, so a lot of people are going back to the farm.
Yes.
You have to ask yourself, what's the motivation? Okay, but I tell you what, despite all the gloom, that we tend to paint, about ourselves, Nigeria is #1 producer of yams in the world. Nigeria is #1 producer of cowpeas, that's beans, the beans that you eat in the world. Okay, so we have huge tons of this,
All right.
that we produce. And then what we let ourselves down, because according to their statistics, more than 50% of what we produce gets really bad.
Yes, it gets
and all
really
that.
bad.
See
Yeah.
how long it takes to move tomatoes from the north to the south.
To the south.
That's something
Days.
that shouldn't take more than a few hours.
And there's no, it's in the open truck,
it's
lorry.
not refrigerated, or
it's
there's
not
no
refrigerated,
packaging or
nothing.
proper. And those are all
Exactly.
the huge opportunities that people can just step into and participate in. And that's what I think our young folks, or certainly encourage our young. We keep saying young folks, they're not really young. When you consider that a lot of. Do you know that, just as an aside, when you think about it, when the new generation bank started, the average age of the CEOs were in their 30s.
Yeah.
They're in their 30s.
How old are they now? They're in their 60s now.
So, when we keep saying young people, you're not young.
Not
it's
so
high time
young,
you push these things.
And in any case, how old is Nigeria itself?
Exactly.
58.
There you go.
58. Because according to the new research, you are still youth till 65.
Yeah, well, that's what they say.
Yeah.
So Nigeria is still very young.
Still very young.
Very young.
But we've got a lot. We've got a lot to sell about ourselves.
Yes.
I am positive about that. And the individuals, can do a lot as well.
Yes.
By the way you do your things. I remember that in those days when I used to travel out a lot, my laptop used to be in the Ankara, bag. I had someone who used to make, and every time I went out, I never came back with that
All
cover.
right. Yes.
Some of my friends would take it off me.
Yes.
All right. I mean, the other day we
It's so
saw,
unique.
the kind of price tag that was on our Ankara.
Yes.
Abroad,
and people are thinking that, is it the same Ankara they're talking about? And so we there's so much. We just need to sit down, and drop a concise plan as to how we want to let the world, know this country. And there's
Thank you very much.
no way we will talk about that and not mention, the infrastructure that he's spoken about. It's such a hard, thing to go through our airports. We know.
Yeah.
Imagine if you were coming from Europe and you wanted to go to Ikogosi, for example. Let's assume that we've decided that we want to sell these tourist spots, and Ikogosi is one of them. Okay, so you fly 6 hours, say from Europe to get into Lagos, and it takes you 7 hours to get to Ikogosi. It won't work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
So we need to fix, some of those things.
Yeah.
Right.
Imagine if you could just hop on a train, in Ikeja, and in 1.5 hours you're at Ikogosi.
Yeah.
Okay, so
That's true.
we must understand how these things, the linkages that you need to put in place, to be able to sell a good story.
All right.
But
Thank
then
you
we've
very
talked
much.
about how we have all these, how we have all these good things in place and all. But then it means that for bad news to be going out in the country and then forming an image of how Nigeria is, it means the media, they are the gatekeepers, of the country. So it means that there's something they are not doing right. So how can they make things better?
Yeah,
No.
Listen,
Mudupe, you have to understand. You have to understand something.
Quickly.
Okay, bad news.
Yes.
Travels.
Very fast.
Yes.
And sells.
Okay,
Yeah.
exactly. So you see the papers; it's full of scandals. It's
True.
full, those. And people begin to rush them. And I don't want to say that there's also some kind of conspiracy, out there by the outside world to say that everything they see about Africa is negative. I'm not going to sustain Nigeria now. That everything. I mean, every time you watch CNN and they're talking about Africa, what do you see?
It's frustrating, and you wonder, is this the same country I am right now? That you're seeing on the screen?
And so you have. I mean, I have friends who they want to come here. When I talk about how beautiful Nigeria is, but it's like, the things they hear about Nigeria, and all that. It's like, look, we just don't go around stabbing people on the streets, and all that. So it's like, South Africa as well. They talk about how much rape, that goes on the streets. It's not like they drag every single person, and all that. So we need to be able to sell the right story.
Yes, we need to be able to sell the right story. That's take home. Thank you very much. And for Mr. Folonsho Phillips, for people that are watching, one word, especially Nigerians that are not in the country, what word of advice would you give them?
To those that are not in the country?
Yes.
Well, I would just say that, look, try and understand. You said one word, and I don't want to just say this.
Okay, one sentence. One sentence.
Yes. There's too much about this to say it in one word. I think one sentence. Try and understand what it is that our country really stands for, or try and understand what it is you can come and contribute to the country. Try and appreciate that you are Nigerian. And no matter what, we who are here are proud to be Nigerians. I'm extremely proud to be Nigerian. And I think a lot of people are. We can moan and groan about it, but at the end of the day, we are proud. And once you identify with that and come in, and don't let things that seem to be, all the politics and so on, that's a different area. It's a challenging area. But let's grab the good things and celebrate the good things and push them and hope they can outpace those things that are not working right now.
All right. Let's push the good things and celebrate it. Thank you so much. I won't ask you again because we know we'll still call you to come and talk more about this another time. Thank you very much. We know that you are supposed to be having breakfast right now.
Yes, we are all the Igbóbians, and I happen to be the national president of the Igbobi College Old Boys Association. A very, very well branded Old Boys network.
I know. Please, you want to advertise your school. You have to pay, sir. You have to pay, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming.
And after school, should I all send your kids too?
Yes. Okay, so because they are baby boomers now, so
exactly.
It's about time,
That's right.
All right.
If you're looking for a school for your kid.
On behalf of High Impact TV.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you very much,
Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's what we have on this particular, should I call it segment?
We have more.
We have more. Exactly. We'll be going on a break, and from High Impact TV, we have something special for you. So please do stay glued because Tea or Coffee continues.
Yes.
When you think about it, there's a lot to celebrate in our lives. From the smallest milestones to our biggest moments, we'll pamper you at High Impact Planet. Whatever the occasion, let's celebrate you at High Impact Planet, where fun just got real.
Have a thrilling and bonding experience at High Impact Planet Amusement Park and Resort. Enjoy an amazing retreat in our extremely secured environment with our breathtaking rides. Set goals for the upcoming year in our convenient multi-purpose halls. Bond between team members while giving your staff a desirable treat. High Impact Planet. Fun just got real.
Welcome back. It's still Tea or Coffee on High Impact Television. And happy Independence Day to everyone out there, to you watching me right now. Okay, so before we went on break, we had Modupe and Miss Ronke. And Miss Ronke actually, you know, told me to stand up. But now I'm back.
Miss
Take
Wura.
full position. Okay, you know, as proud Nigerians, we would actually be singing the national anthem now. And I would be directing Modupe and Ronke. Are we good? Are we ready? Okay, now let's go. 1, 2,
What's
ready,
the key?
go. We need to stand up. Yes. To
What's
sing
the key?
national
Give me the
anthem.
key.
Okay.
You forgot to introduce our guests because we're all standing together.
Oh, yes. Yes,
Exactly.
definitely. We have our guest in the studio, Chairman, Solution Media and Infotech, Prince Adeyanju Likpede, right here in the studio with us. Good morning.
Good
sir.
morning.
You're
Thanks
welcome.
for coming.
Nice to be here for the first time.
Yes,
Yes,
definitely.
yes.
And it's our pleasure to have you here also.
All right.
Thank you. Okay, so are we good?
We're good. We're ready.
Rise, O
Compatriots, Nigeria's call obey to serve our fatherland with love and strength and faith. The labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain. To serve with heart and might, one nation bound in freedom, peace and unity. Okay, not just that, we also need to recite our pledge.
Okay.
Yes,
And then?
okay? Let's go. Okay, I pledge to Nigeria, my country, to be faithful, loyal, and honest, to serve Nigeria with all my strength, to defend our unity, and uphold our honor and glory. So help me God. Oh, thank you. Okay,
Thank you.
yes.
Anytime I say that, I'm always kind of repentant.
Why do you have that
The
feeling?
words are very, very strong.
Yes, and you
know.
actually, it's not
Yeah.
just reciting the words, but staying true to it actually
Yes.
matters a lot.
True.
It's not just for you to put your hand on your chest and say, yeah, I pledge to Nigeria. Do you actually pledge to Nigeria, your country? And to make this whole thing funny, you know, there was one time I heard someone say, I pledge to Nigeria, my country. To serve Nigeria is not by force. I'm like, really? No, it is actually by force.
It's
You
so
need to serve your
unpatriotic.
fatherland.
It's an
Yes.
honor to serve Nigeria.
It is.
Yes,
Yes.
definitely. Anytime it is. Okay, so moving on to what we have today. Today we're talking about rebranding Nigeria.
Yes.
And definitely we have Prince Adeyanju Likpede to, you know, do justice to the topic. Welcome to Tea or Coffee first, to start with. Yes, and then next, how do you think Nigeria can actually be rebranded in your own words?
All right. Thank you very much. I have heard people before me,
Yes.
and I have seen quite a number of things. But I prepared something that when you told me to come, I said, okay, fine. I'm going to give you 3 Ps. You know, I like that. To rebrand Nigeria, we need
Yeah.
the people, we need
Okay. The
patriotism, and then we need progress or perception. Okay, so I called it progress before, but after the last 2, I changed it to perception, so I can take it from that place.
Okay.
Now, Nigeria, first and foremost, let us define Nigeria.
Nigeria.
There is no country in this world that is better than Nigeria.
Wow.
That's the first thing that you must
I
understand.
think I agree with you, actually.
There is no,
I do.
there is no place like home. You know, when you enter Nigeria, you know that this is Nigeria.
Yeah, you feel the
Nigeria
sense of
is
belonging.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, now let me tell you why Nigeria is the best in the world. You don't find natural disasters here.
True.
You don't have hurricane. You don't have earthquake. You don't have storms. You don't have snows. Right?
Yeah.
True.
And all that we have, which we can call disasters, are man-made. So
Okay.
Nigeria is the creation of God to be a model for the entire universe. You have 12 months in a year.
Yeah.
You don't have extreme weather.
Yes.
Never too hot to go out.
And never
And never too cold to go out. So Nigeria, take it. Nigeria is the best country in the universe.
Yeah.
Now let me go again. If you look at the natural resources that we're endowed with in Nigeria, starting with agriculture, solid minerals, oil, etc., We still have a lot of bitumen on tap.
Yes.
We have gas
Yes.
still there. So
Yes.
we're not even worried what happens to oil. Because God has positioned
All of
Nigeria to
this.
continue to survive whatever happens.
Yes.
Okay.
If we change technology that is going all over the world, we're going green, and we're no longer going to use oil or whatever, God has given us alternatives. So you agree with me?
Yes, definitely. I
Nigeria is the best country
do. In the universe.
in the world.
I like the fact that you were not even saying in the world, but in the whole of the universe.
Oh, yes.
Actually,
Yes.
I think Nigerians actually need to understand this, because even Nigerians do not believe in themselves, and we need people to keep pushing out the positive image of Nigeria and everything it is endowed with, you know.
That's good. So then I talk to you about the people.
Yes.
When I talk about people, I talk about religion. I talk about tribe. I talk about education. Now, I don't mean formal education alone, formal and informal education. In terms of people, we have the Hausa, the Igbos, and the Yoruba, and the 6 geopolitical zones.
Yes.
Now, we've had to live together.
That's one.
From 1960, let me talk independence,
independence,
and
yes.
post. We've had to live together. Whatever happens, whatever tore some countries apart, what situations have happened in Nigeria, and we're still together.
We're still together.
And we will still continue to stand.
Definitely.
It is
amen.
not, they're not even problems, they're challenges. And that's made us greater, better, and stronger together. Okay? So I'm going to say to you today that the people which are 170 million or thereabouts, they say Nigeria is bad. I'm going to that perception. What percentage of Nigerians have committed that offense for you to say Nigerians are bad? Okay? Or you want me to tell you another story? We are not the bad ones. Yes, I'm going to prove it today.
Okay.
Somebody steals Nigerian money. Who takes it from him?
Exactly.
True.
If he has nowhere to keep, would he steal?
Definitely not.
Fine. Somebody steals Nigerian crude oil. Do we have refineries here apart from the ones we have?
No.
Who takes it from us?
Yeah.
Okay? There is a saying in Yoruba language that is not the person that steals, that is the thief. The bigger thief is the custodian, the one that takes it from him. So those ones who come here and call us corrupt officers are greater corrupt people. I'm not encouraging corruption at all, no. What I'm saying is that they are the ones that have allowed the corruption to thrive in Nigeria. Because all the corrupt proceeds are not in Nigeria. And they have not been repatriated either. So before you call us
Using
thieves,
it to develop their
or you
own
call us anything, send back what you have that you are keeping illegally
Okay.
by the Nigerian you called thieves. Send it back to us and see how we will use it. That's number one. Number two, you talk about Nigerians as 419. Now, somebody comes to you and says, I have $50 billion in central bank. And give me $5 billion and you will get the $50 billion. Who is the thief?
The person wants to
The
get
person that actually wants to
Did
get
you
more.
work for the 50 billion? So you now say, oh, the Nigerian has swindled. No, that guy is a thief. Because he also wanted to swindle us. Although I'm not supporting that act. But if those people were not gullible, they would not have been beaten to that.
And you
So
know,
let's put it in the perspectives of what. Then I finally say people, I say, how many are they? We're 170 million. In all the prisons and all the crimes that are committed all over the world, there are not more than 1,700 Nigerians. I'm just taking a percentage, which is 1%. It means that because of 1%, you say 99% are bad.
Mess up the whole apple.
And the crimes that are committed in other areas of I don't want to start mentioning, you know, are much more than what we see here.
Yes, but they're actually being covered.
Yes.
They're not even being covered. The people have accepted it as norm. You know?
Yes.
They have accepted it. When a Nigerian that is British born wins Laurel, he's a British.
He's British.
When a Nigerian
And he steals.
that is British born commits a crime, is a Nigerian British. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
They will link it up to our country back. Now we have Nigerians like my previous guest here said that are doing very, very well all over the world. Extremely well. So I don't see why anybody would say Nigeria is not the greatest all over the world.
Okay.
Now,
There is-
I just want to put it like that. First, the people.
Yes.
The people we are very religious
Yeah.
as a people. We have what we call communal system where we help one another and we seek to help one another. You understand? That's where Nigeria is. A Nigerian will find that you're in trouble and he knows you need help. You need help. He goes out to help you, even if he doesn't know you.
Yeah.
You can't find that anywhere else. Even if it is Gary that he wants to drink,
It's going to
he
share.
has. You say, let us drink it together.
Together.
You try it in America, you will sleep on the streets, or even in Britain. So the issue is not that Nigeria is bad. The issue is we, the people, do we believe that we are good? November last year, I went to the States, and then when we came out of the plane in Boston, they told us Americans stand like this. Americans with visa, all of them, those who came in first class, we were standing until they finished with their citizens before they could think about us. And we stood there for more than 1 hour, 45 minutes without any apology. Then I was coming back to Nigeria. And I got to Muritala Mohammed. And then I saw a long queue of Nigerians.
Yeah.
Then I saw the expatriates going 1, 2, 3. Of course, I made noise. And I told them that I don't want to be a second-class citizen abroad and also be a second-class citizen in my country. I had the privilege of flying and I was in the front. But I saw a number of Nigerians and I told them that is nonsense. Yeah, but they are just 10. I said, I don't care. Keep the 10 there and let all the Nigerians pass. And let them know that's what happens in Europe as well. You will go through the queue and they will give you 10 immigration officers for the Europeans and still give you maybe 5 or 6 for all others. They don't care. All they want is that their people should go first because they are home. And that's what when you go to the airport now, it's not the same. So we need to understand that we Nigerians are the best in the world.
I believe that's what we definitely should be saying, because a lot of people, any little thing, this country is this country is that.
We don't believe in ourselves.
You've been to different places, and to the fact that you're a prince, most of the time, somebody actually spoke with me one time. It was in a gathering. It's non-Nigerian, non-African, and he said, Ronke, why is it that everybody that calls on internet will say, I'm a prince from Africa? That are you sure are there truly prince in Africa, princess in Africa? And I said, definitely yes. If they come to you, that means you are also greedy. You understand that? And most of the people that actually come to you to tell you I'm from Nigerians might even be your neighbor.
Exactly.
So you as a prince, you go out and then you introduce yourself as a prince. How do you try to win the confidence of the people around you to know that yes, you are the legal prince, and then they can do business with you?
I would actually like to add to what she said. A lot, when you mention a Nigerian young prince, what comes to the mind of foreigners out there is catfishing, like you going to the internet to do stuff.
Yes.
But then it is not like that. You are a prince, like she said. Now, how do you portray your image out there?
Well, first and foremost, integrity. Integrity all the way. People have a right to perception, and you don't have. I'm going to give you an example. One of the companies in UK that we get contents from. This time that I went, just to pick up the contents that we had paid for, And then I looked at some other ones. And he said, no, you can take them because we know you will pay. Do you understand what I mean by that? That's integrity. You don't need to go and say, I'm a prince. If they want to find out, they can Google. Everybody is a prince anyway, because they are the prince of the Most High God.
Yes.
But what it means is that the people that are gullible, the people that are greedy, the people that are looking for something are those that are caught on the internet for such things.
Yes.
You can't tell me now that I just won $5 million. I would
Without
tell you
doing
that,
anything.
I would tell you that, sorry, I'm not into magic, and I don't double money. So you can't pass through me. And I think what we need to do is that the internet or the internet fraud and whatever, people have means of checking. If anybody says he's caught in that, it means he did not do due diligence. Okay? Nigeria has Nigerian embassies abroad. Nigeria has trade missions abroad where you can cross-check. And the whole world is now a small village on the internet.
Definitely.
You can trace and trace. People can copy you and say you are the person. Of course, you can still cross-check again. It's not only Nigeria. Now, let me correct one notion.
Yes.
I talked about patriotism, and I'm going to say it now. One of the greatest problems of Nigeria is the fact that our borders are open to the West African people. And a lot of them commit crime with a Nigerian name.
Yeah.
I want to recall one incident that was in Malaysia on drugs.
Yeah.
That one Ghanaian used a Nigerian name.
Yes.
And eventually they discovered that I wasn't actually a Nigerian, but a Ghanaian. So whenever they see anybody, black, coming from Africa, trying to do something or defrauding them, he must be a Nigerian. You know? And please note that a lot of these foreigners have never been to Africa. They think Africa is a country.
It's a country.
Yeah.
Exactly like the person was asking me.
Nigeria is the country. Do you understand me? Except they come here. And then when they come here, they say, but what they're saying to us is not what we're seeing here.
Saying yes.
And they also have their own downside. Now you can go to New York and get to New York and say, is this part of America? The same thing in New Jersey. The same thing in UK. Brixton and Dustin and Beckham. And you start wondering if it's still London. That is, but they don't show that. They show you, Westminster, Washington, D.C. All right? And that's what you see. And a lot of Nigerians want to go there, and they suffer.
Yeah.
Really, really suffer. Opportunities are here, just like Mr. Funsho Philip said. For the youth, you can do quite a number of things in Nigeria, and you keep growing. There is nothing for you to do. Even the menial jobs that used to be available are no longer there. And they just go there and suffer. And shame does not allow them to come back again. Or they have overstayed. Nigeria is still the best country in the world. I stand by that. Even after 58 years, forget it. We've had military rules. We've had all sorts. I'm going to give you an example.
Yeah.
My first car, I bought it at 2,900. The one, the brand new 504 SR, 2,900. And that is still possible. Because it's very simple. The pressure on our naira is because we're still dependent on foreign things.
Yes.
We need, when you talk about rebranding and whatever, you need to rebrand the psyche of our people.
Mindsets, yes, definitely.
That there is nothing that is coming from that side that you cannot produce here. Or that you cannot manage. They told you about the beans and the yam. Of course, they have their potatoes. But we have our yam. Their potatoes is not as sweet as our yam.
Yeah.
Sure.
Their beans or baked beans cannot make the same thing. We also have the cassava. And we turn cassava into so many things. So many things. Ethanol, whatever, you know, starch,
gari,
and gari, edible gari,
fufu,
and
so many
things to it. And you know what? In Nigeria, and I repeat, in Nigeria, from Maiduguri to Lagos to Port Harcourt, you can do agriculture 12 months in a year.
Yeah.
You can't find that there. Is it not a great country?
It is. Yes, definitely.
So Nigeria is a great country. All we need to do is to accept the fact that there is no country better than mine. They will want to put you down, but you tell your story like where Mr. Phillips said. We need to tell our stories. We need to be proud to tell our stories. Let them call it arrogance. You call it self-preservation.
Yeah.
We need to be able to say that this is what we are. Now I'm going to tell you about iMpact TV. There were attempts from our brother to say that, oh, we're at a meeting. She was there, and they said, how many people in your country can access HD? I said, beg your pardon? And I had like 4 of my staff around, and we were all holding
the latest.
No, Samsung latest telephone. And they were holding something less. And they were like 4 as well. So I said, listen, just take this table as an example. I said, what phones are you using? What phones are we using? And then we put it on the table. Oh, I'm very sorry. I said, no, don't be. The latest television sets, the latest days are in my country. But you don't use it.
Exactly.
Because we have that self-pride to be able to tell the stories. And it is until we begin to tell them that what it is. They were classmates, they were in school, they were not better than us.
Yeah.
Until Nigerians begin to say, this is my own. And because it is my own, I want to protect it, I want to preserve it, and I want to work for it. That's the issue. Rebranding is rebranding the mindset of Nigerians. The remaining 99% that are still diligent, that are still patriotic, and that are still proud to be Nigerian. Change their mindset. Let them begin to understand that Nigeria is their country. Now, what? Second point. Nigerians are very well behaved. You know what?
Yeah.
Once they leave the shores of Nigeria and go to this next door, Benin Republic, they fall in line. Okay?
Even in the aircraft.
Yes.
No, I'm just trying to tell you.
Fasten your seatbelts. Everybody's like waiting. But immediately they get to...
Once they get to Murtala Mohammed, that's why we need
fasten your seatbelt. They are removing it.
We need to... That's why I'm not going to campaign for any political party or whatever.
Yes.
There is a need for a change of perception. A change of individuals.
Yeah.
A change of attitude, a change of behavior, you know? And that will go a long way in rebranding Nigeria. That's the only way to rebrand Nigeria. Once we begin to set the standards, we didn't need an Idiagbon to tell us to go and be queuing.
True.
Yes.
But we had him and we were queuing. You remember?
Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
And what is wrong with us queuing? The problem is the high class, the upper class, who cannot afford to queue. But all of us, when we get abroad and we're supposed to stamp our passport, we all queue. But when we get to Nigeria, we will never queue. We'll get to passport office, go behind. I can't stay, I'm very busy. We need to be prepared to rebrand ourselves.
Yeah.
And once we do that, it will go a long way in changing things. A long way in doing things. You understand me?
Yes,
We don't have to be laid back.
All right. Okay.
We have to be proud of our country.
Okay, talking about rebranding Nigeria, definitely the citizens, you can't keep pushing everything to the government. Now, you mentioned that foreigners out there, they have their downsides.
Yeah, of course.
They have their own negative aspects. But then they show to us what they want us to see and what they want us to believe. So do you think the media for Nigeria, now we're talking about rebranding Nigeria, do you think the media has a whole lot of role to play in rebranding Nigeria?
Now, let me tell you one thing. The greatest news is bad news.
Yes.
Because that's what
Sells fast.
If you
Exactly.
watch CNN, is disasters that they go run after, scandals, because that's what sells the station. So you must look at the business aspect of the media, and then you now look at the moral aspect of it. Now, what we need to do first is that if I am on the station and I'm supposed to talk about Nigeria, and you know, I tell people that when this mug is on this level filled, I can call it half empty,
Yes.
and you can call it
Half full.
So it's a perception. So when I'm going to report anything like that, I would report it from a position of strength and an advantage to my country. That is where the press comes in. I'm not going to say they're guilty. Nobody. We're all guilty. You are in the press already.
Yes.
Okay. What we need to do is to begin to tell our stories, like Mr. Funshaw, Philip said, ourselves. Because when we tell it ourselves, we tell it with our tongue. We tell it from our mind.
Yes.
We tell it in our spirit. We tell it be feeling the impact of the story.
And that is actually what we're doing here on Tea or Coffee. You know, I'm sure you watching there, you can feel the passion, because right here in the studio, I can feel the passion of you being Nigerian, so proud to be one.
I am very proud to be a Nigerian.
Nigeria.
I have been offered, for example, Canadian citizen when about 3-4 years ago. And I said to them, what do I need it for? What do I need it for? Why should I take it? I'd rather take the Nigerian, build on the Nigerian, enter your country and show you that the Nigerian can do things better.
I think that deserves a round of applause because not everyone would want to, you know, turn up that kind of offer.
Yes, because number one, we need to have the spirit in us. If we believe in our country, definitely. So I guess that is actually what Solution Media, like
It's
we
about
know, is
correct
noted for.
mindset.
Let's talk about the high impact planet, for example.
Exactly.
Yes, I'll tell you that first and foremost, you need to believe in yourself.
In yourself.
Do you believe in yourself? Who told you that you are not beautiful? Who told you that?
My mirror tells me I'm very beautiful.
Yes. You need to tell yourself what you look like.
Exactly.
And that's what radiates out of you.
Yeah.
And that's what the courage that you have. And that's what people see. You know? Nobody can run you down. Nobody has the capacity. Nobody has the right to do that. When you believe in yourself, that yourself is a member of that country, Nigeria. Do you understand what I mean by that?
Yes.
So if I say I believe in myself, then I must believe in myself as a Nigerian. Then I have the capacity to do whatever that every other person all over the world is able to do. Because I believe in myself. Now, I say something again. Never be too scared to fail. Because when you make a mistake or you fail, you have an opportunity to do it again and do it better. Number 3, never be afraid to take a risk. Because the greatest risk is not to take risk at all.
Yes.
Very true.
Number 4, there is no shortcut to success. It is hard work. Now, if you are guided by those principles and you believe in yourself, you are a member of a greater Nigeria. And you begin to make a difference. Now, look at Impact Planet Amusement Park. People don't believe that it is not run by foreigners. I don't call them experts. It's not run by foreigners. It's run by Nigerians who are graduates, who have gone to school, that we have trained, and they have been maintaining it. Look at Impact TV today. Everybody behind the scene here is a Nigerian. Are you not proud?
Very proud.
And I'm saying to you now, on Utelsat that we just moved on to, where you have NBC this, NBC that, and all the foreign channels, were the only full HD channel.
TV station in Nigeria.
Not even on that channel.
On that channel.
That Utelsat at IBC that I went, were proud to be introducing us as their main and the only HD. They were saying the only HD channel on 7 West.
Okay.
You know, people said, "Oh no, you can't do HD. You cannot do it. It's impossible." What is impossible? If it is possible there, it is possible here.
Okay. All right. You know, because of our time, you know, I actually wish we could go on and
continue.
on talking about it. Now, let's talk about high impact planets. Definitely, high impact planets have set a pace for tourism attraction, not just in Nigeria, even in West Africa. You likely said that most people actually have this idea that foreigners run this place, but then Nigerians are actually the one putting a lot of hard work. So now, in your own words, how do you think tourism, you know, having to maintain tourism in Nigeria would help in rebranding the positive image of Nigeria out there?
Well, tourism is showcasing who you are.
Yes.
To those who don't know who you are. So that's number one.
Okay.
Now, you need to be sure of security. People would want to stay where they are sure that they're secure.
That they're safe.
Secured. I wish to use the word secured. Okay? Now, we have our challenges, but those challenges are not peculiar to Nigeria. We talk about tourism. Tourism is in Europe. Tourism is in America. Terrorist is in Europe, terrorist is in America, and terrorist is in Nigeria. So why is the Nigerian terrorist an issue? Which is it's only in about 3 states out of 36. 10%, less than 10%. Do you understand me? And government is trying hard to curtail it, and we're fighting it. Terrorism is very difficult to fight because you are fighting an unknown enemy. So let nobody tell me that Nigeria is not safe. There's nothing that makes Nigeria unsafe that doesn't make America unsafe, that doesn't make Europe unsafe. It's the same thing.
Yes.
Okay? So when you do tourism, you invite them to come and see what you have. And then they're going on a holiday. And they come in here and they are able to enjoy themselves. That's why in High Impact Planet, for example, if I narrow it down to us, we identify the challenges and we turn them to tasks and we try to go around it. One is power. That's why when you come to High Impact Planet, you find out that all the rights have what we call an inverter system, as well as all the rights have an independent power generation. Because we couldn't trust the continuity of the national grid for now. So that nobody will be hanging up there or suspended. You know? That's what you see. You can find more than 20 generators move around. And more than 5 kilowatts of power. Independent power supply. Then you talk about the source of the equipment. You have to be sure that they are safe. And they can withstand the windshield, withstand the soil test before we put them in. And we have sufficient standards that we follow.
All right.
And then we also have health and safety.
Yes.
We have the clinic in there, just in case. You know, the adventure is what we talk about here. When you come in here, you must leave this place totally satisfied.
The High Impact Planet.
High Impact Planet.
Okay. So like you said now, you mentioned a lot of things that needs to be put in place for an amusement park.
Yes.
So that means if we're talking about rebranding the country, it is not something that we're supposed to do in 1 month, in 2 months, in 4 years. It will take real planning. And one thing about what we have these days is the consistency that people talk about. By the time another dispensation is coming in, might just trash that one and say, okay, let me do mine and like that. So how do you think we'll be able to work
I
with
think policies, I think good policies outlive a government. Good policies. When you formulate policies, that is only going to survive until you finish your tenure, then the next government takes it out. When you formulate a good policy,
Yes.
that is good. Okay, let me give you an example. When Chief Awolowo was Premier West, he started free education.
Yes.
That free education outlived him. Even other politicians were using it as bait.
Yes.
Or as manifestos.
Manifestos.
Because it was a good policy. So I think that when we want to rebrand, I think we are already rebranding.
Yes.
What we need to rebrand is ourselves. The 190 million or 170 million needs to rebrand. And that rebranding is not going on television telling them that China closed their borders for more than 10 years. When they opened up, they had done the internal rebranding. And today, they are the biggest economy. America is chasing them, and that's why you are seeing all these trade wars. So what we need to do, for me, close all the borders around Nigeria.
About we thrive.
We should not be the father of Africa and be suffering. We fought the whole of apartheid for South Africa, and South Africa are killing our people. So right now, we need to sit down, close our borders. We don't need Ghana. We don't need what is it called? Benin Republic, Togo, and this thing. Close it, and let's stay inside and rebrand ourselves. And generations after you they will pray for you.
Be grateful.
They will be very grateful. That's all we need to do. That's the rebranding that will come now and will help us. Look, all the engineers that are maintaining all your sophisticated rights didn't go, they are not white.
Yes.
But they're doing a good job.
Yes.
Perfect job.
Yeah.
True.
You know, I have been listening, and then, you know, I am taking in all the wisdom that has been coming. And, you know, I'm sitting here and I'm telling myself, yes, I am indeed proud to be a Nigerian because we have a lot to offer.
Yes.
And then I think, in my own opinion, I feel that, you know, social media, talking about social media, will you agree with me if, you know, I say there should be like a
control?
Yes.
Control.
Because sometimes, you know, the world is a global village now, and then whatever we dish out is what these people see and then they take. So do you think there should be like, we should safeguard, there should be a limit to what we should be able to put out there?
No. I think we can't control that.
Well, some countries do.
Yeah, they do, but we don't want to be like them.
Okay.
We're a liberal country. We don't want to be like them.
Okay.
But what we need to do is to dwell on the good side. Forget about the negative thing.
Yeah.
Let them write whatever they want to write, negative or whatever.
Okay.
When you write 10 negative points and there are 50 positive points there, then the 10 is of no importance.
Wow.
So we should continue to dwell on what is good about us. If you sit down and write something about yourself and you put it on social media about how proud you are to work in a place like this, how your station is this, how your company is that, how you have been to school, what your school is. You can hear us, we were talking about the Global College with pride.
True.
Okay? Now that's what happens. And you say that, you put it on there, and somebody reads it, someone will say, oh, forget it, your station is not good. And so, you know, some other person says, shut up, I've seen the station. You know?
That's what happened.
That's what happens.
Definitely. Okay, you know, we actually need to bring you on the
we need
show
to wrap
again because you have so much to offer. You know, I can see that you have a lot of content, you have a lot of things to say about Nigerians, and you know, you have contributed to my confidence of being Nigerian. Yes, it is on this note we have to wrap up. But before we go, thank you so much for coming. You know, we appreciate your coming. On behalf of High Impact TV, we'd like to say thank you.
Thank you. Thank you too.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
All right.
And then we have cake, definitely.
Exactly.
Yes,
We have
we
our
need to
cake.
cut. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay,
No,
so
you can still wait. You can still wait. Are you so much in a hurry?
all right, you know what? We would have to cut the cake after the show, yes, because our time is fast
Yes,
spent.
you can
Thank
join
you
us.
so much for tuning to Tea or Coffee on High Impact Television.
And of course, you can join us same time, same station.
Yes, definitely.
Tomorrow for another exciting.
Same time?
Yes, same time.
9
AM.
a.m.
9,
Right.
yes.
All right, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much
Thank you
for
so
coming.
much for
Thank
coming.
you very much.
All right.
Okay, so yes, it's still tea or coffee on High Impact Television. I am Raola Kukwola.
I am Odupe Jacobs.
And Ronke Ashiru.
Till see you again tomorrow. Bye.
Independence Month.